Good morning and hello, friends. Happy December 17th. It is a week until Christmas. Crazy, absolutely crazy. The year is rounding out kind of quite nicely, in my opinion. At least for me, and I hope it's the same for all of you. Moving into the new year, 2026, crazy. I want to remain true to myself and who I am, and what I want to do and be. And at the same time, I have to also realize that I don't know who I am and what I want to be. Like, I still don't know who I want to be when I grow up. I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. And that feels kind of silly to say because I'm 25, but there's a lot of things. Also, I have a cat right here, so my elbow is up because I don't want to put it down on her head, and she's just being a weirdo. Aren't she, though? Yeah, I'm 25, and I still don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life, and that thought has been kind of daunting lately, because I know I'm supposed to do something, and I feel like I can't be stuck where I'm at for forever. I don't want to be stuck where I'm at forever, so it's left up to me. Like, what am I going to do with that? What am I going to do now? And how am I going to move forward? I have a lot of fear of perception, a lot of fear about being myself and sharing myself and putting myself out there because I'm afraid of judgment, and I'm afraid of not being good enough and not being enough. I'm afraid that I could always do better, be better, and that is always true. But that fear of not being good enough, or not being enough to like post, or not being perfect enough or whatever, is holding me back, and that's me myself. It's something that I have to work on, is letting myself be seen as I am. And that includes doing things that I'm uncomfortable with and stepping out of my comfort zone, and expanding myself. And that goes with, like, I'm going to share my art. I want to share my music. Even though I haven't really started anything in regards to music just yet, I'm working on it. Because I have there's a lot of shit in my head that goes with that, because when I was growing up, everything that I wanted to do was wrong and bad, and I couldn't do it, and it was, no, you're not allowed to, or no, whatever. It was a whole smorgasbord of no and whatever. So the reasoning for my mentality now is because growing up, I wasn't allowed to really create or express myself or be myself, really. I had to fill this role of, like I was the scapegoat. I was the take care of your siblings when we're not here, and even when they were there, it was bad. So whatever. Being the oldest in a family like that is, I don't know, I spent all of my time when I was younger focused on my siblings and focused on what I could do to make this, oh, that was a really big bird, better for everybody in my immediate family, in my immediate world. Oh shit, that was not a really big bird. There were two crows, two really big crows. Could have been ravens. I didn't get a look at their tails very well. Whatever. So growing up in an environment like that was not conducive to self-discovery, and self-expression and whatever. Throughout my entire life, all I wanted personally was to be loved and to be accepted and to be enough to somebody else, because I never was. to my parents, not to people that I had relationships with, nothing. So I went outside of my immediate like family group, whatever, to seek that, unknowingly at the time, and I ended up in relationships that hurt me very, very bad. But the point is that I spent a lot of time focused on other shit, and I didn't really have the time or ability to be like, what do I want for myself? You know, I was so focused on other shit that I never really figured out me. And now I feel like I'm figuring out me. And I have been for like the last like 2-ish years. Before this little 2-year stint, I was in a long-term relationship, but I was by myself a lot of that time because of shit that I'm not going to talk about right now. But I was by myself for a lot of that time. And when I say by myself, I mean like literally like by myself. I wasn't home. I wasn't with him. I was in my car driving around, or I was sitting in some parking lot somewhere with my notebook and like whatever. I spent hours and hours and hours in my car writing about shit. And then after I got out of that relationship, after being like alone for that period of time, I was also again like alone and isolated. And but this time, like I chose to do it. I didn't have a job. I gotten fired. So I got fired from my job, and I didn't have a car, so I was out of a car, I was out of a job. So the only thing I could really do was sit and stew. And like I would have had a car much sooner, and I would have been able to start working and get like everything like in motion if my dumbass wasn't seeking validation from other people and giving in to the, oh, I need help, I'm in such a bad spot and I can't do anything about it, so I need you to help me, and I need you to do something for me because whatever. So I put myself into a deeper, shittier situation because I wanted to help someone else and be there for him. And then he ended up fucking me over, like, hardcore. But I'm still a dumbass and listened to him when he came back and apologized. But now looking back on that whole, like, situation there, he was blatantly, like, using me and trying to control me. While saying that he wasn't, and telling me that he was a good guy and he was different from my exes because he was a good guy and he would buy me dinner. Everything I ever asked from him was, don't follow and support OnlyFans girls. And then he broke up with me because I said, hey, you know I can see what you like on Instagram, right? Whatever. But I'm gonna cut that whole blurb out because that does not need to be in here. Whatever. Long story short, I trusted this guy. He played the whole, I need help, yada yada yada, and I played into it. I gave him my resources. I fucked myself over, and whatever. I was having a conversation with my brother last night about a bunch of stuff, and he was like, you're a very giving, very kind person, and people see that, and they take advantage of it. And he's right. And I know this. I know. It's very hard, like, doing all of the work in, like, writing and, like, your journal and everything, and then taking it and actually applying it to real-world situations. It's very difficult to, actualize it. But after, like, doing all the work and writing everything down in my notebook and journal, and then seeing the situation, like, play out in real time, and then having, like, gears click in my head to be able to be like, oh, this is how you handle the situation, not how, like, you would handle it, like, previously. Like, just for, like, an example or whatever, like, if someone said something to me and I felt any type of way, like got upset about it or whatever, then I would be upset about it. And I would react. It would be an emotional reaction, not a, like a, hey, you did this and said this and this is how it made me feel. I was wondering if this was like, is this what you meant by what you said or whatever, you know? Like now I'm actually able to take things in, analyze, and then react without the emotion being like the you're a fucking blah 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 whatever. And I will say that like I have prided myself on not being like it takes a lot for me to get angry and whatever. But like if we're I don't know, dude, I'm also not gonna sit there and have a like I used to sit and take people like yelling at me and screaming at me, and like I used to let that shit happen because there was nothing that I could do, you know? But I just didn't do it, and I didn't see it and didn't realize that like I can do something about this situation. I can get up and I can walk the fuck away. And like the first time that like I like was in a situation where I had to apply it like that specifically, I was confronting my boss at work, and over something that like I was like unsure of and uncomfortable with. So and upon confronting her, she got mad at me and started to like yell at me, and she was cutting me off, she was interrupting me, she wasn't letting me explain things, and then she told me to go home. So I was like, okay, thank you, and then I went to go walk out, and then as I was like going to walk out, she comes back over, she's like, where are you going? And then she starts yelling and screaming at me more, and then asking me questions, and I go to answer the question, and then she would interrupt me. So multiple times throughout this conversation, I was like, dude, like, why are you yelling at me? Like, why are you raising your voice at me? And she said, because I'm angry. I was like, okay, like, you fired someone for yelling at another employee because they got angry. You're doing the same thing right now. And, like, your anger does not justify you yelling at somebody like that. Like, especially not one of your employees. I, like, was literally coming to her like, hey, I'm just a little bit confused as to why this is out instead of this, which is what you asked me to do. And then I was told that I was unoriginal and, like, anybody could find this on Pinterest and whatever the fuck. I was like, okay. And then after she finished yelling at me, after she said that she was only reacting that way because she was angry and whatever, she told me to finish opening the store. I said, no, you already told me to go home, so I'm gonna go home. And she said, yeah, I only said that because I was angry. Seems to be her favorite phrase. I said, okay, we don't say things that we don't mean, especially out of anger. I clocked out, and I left. The next day, she texts me at like 4 o'clock, and she's like, hi, sorry to have to do this, but due to your non-communication, we have to fire you. After I had already sent a message that was like this long, being like, hey, I no longer feel comfortable working here because of how you treated me and because of how you like you think it's okay to yell at people and treat people like shit just because you're angry, and I'm not comfortable working in an environment like that. Yeah. So I collected unemployment for a month, and then I got 2 different jobs. 2 jobs. And they pay better. I have better coworkers. They're actually busy. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just things can be blessings in disguise, you know? I've been rambling and yapping and whatever for the past 15 minutes. But bullshit. I don't know, this is my life, guys. Shit. Yeah, so I lost that job. Was collecting unemployment for a month, and then I started working at this cute little tiny cafe, while waiting for, a phone call. There we go. That's the right word. From the place that I really, really wanted to work at. And then the place that I really, really wanted to work at, they called me back. So that's where I'm working now. Yes. Round of applause. Yeah, I don't know. Blessings in disguise, good things come. Like something has to end in order for something else to begin. You know, one door closes, another door opens, okay? The brick behind you falls, but the brick in front of you appears. You know, we're walking along this magical little path called life, and like you have steps here and here and here, you have another step over here, another step over here. We're everywhere. Like, I don't know, shit's not meant to be linear. Everything is all over the place. There are doors everywhere. It just depends on which ones you open and which ones you fucking close. You can open up any door. You can close any door. You can step through any door, too. But like, I don't know, man. Shit changes, and I think it's a good thing that they change. But you have to be receptive. You have to be receptive. You have to allow things to change. And I know change is very, 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 very scary. I am a prime example of that. I stayed in relationships and shit because I was afraid of change. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know what was gonna come next. And I let that fear of the impending I don't know control me and what I was going to do. Long story short, friends, is that life will throw many lemons at you. What are you gonna do with them? You gonna catch them and make lemonade? You gonna let them hit you in the fucking head? You gonna become the fucking fruit ninja? The fucking... You know? What are you gonna do with all those lemons? Probably a little bit of everything. You're gonna make lemonade. A few of them are gonna hit you in the head. And you're gonna smash a fucking few of them. And go slash up those bitches. 2025 was a very crazy year. A lot happened. Yeah, a lot happened. I bought a car. My other car still isn't fixed. I moved. I started 3 new jobs, lost one of them. Did a lot of writing, did a lot of reading. Not as much as I wanted to, sadly. So this next year will be focused more on doing instead of being passive. I want to do more. I want to see more. I want to be more than what I am. And I am going to be fighting my fears, putting myself out there, and letting me be me. Unapologetically. And I'm still learning how to do that, and I've gotten much better at doing it in the past few years. But I'm still learning. And I will forever be learning, and I've realized that life is a cycle of it. You fuck up, you learn, you do it again. You fuck up, you learn, you do it again. You're always going to be learning. There's always going to be something new, and there's always going to be someone else there to be like, there's always going to be someone there that wants to kick you. And there's always going to be someone there who wants to help rise you up. But what you want to make sure is that you are the person that is always there to rise you up, regardless of if you have others or not. you want to be enough for yourself. You want to give yourself the care and the love that you feel like you deserve from other people. Because you need to understand what it is for yourself. And I'm saying this for me too. I need to understand what it is for me and for myself. Growth and change is scary. It is inevitable, and we can postpone it and prolong it for as long as we humanly can, but it's just going to be detrimental to us, to you. You're gonna fuck yourself over if you don't accept that things are changing. Everything will be okay, no matter what. Time always goes on. Everything is only temporary. It does get better. It really does. So, cheers to that. Take some deep breaths and realize that it's okay. It's okay to be afraid, but have the courage to do what you're afraid of. Face that fear. Don't let it control you. And I'm still learning how to do that myself. So I'm right there with you. It's okay. Give yourself some grace. Don't beat yourself up over shit that you don't have control over. And when you do make mistakes, realize that it's okay. You made a mistake. Don't beat yourself up over it. Don't call yourself names because of it. Don't berate yourself. Internalize it. This is what I did. This is what I did wrong. And this is how I can fix it or mitigate it or whatever next time. And that right there is the important nitty-gritty shit of it. Is the, yes, I did this, the recognition, and the taking accountability, and then what are we gonna do about it? That's the important thing, you know? And with that, friends, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. I hope you all embrace the changes coming your way and are unapologetically you, because the world needs more of that. The world needs more of you.